Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video where, a lot of you have been DMing me saying, Varun, can you make a video on CloudBot, which is now called OpenClaw? And I've just been super busy over the last 3 or 4 days. Game stuff, work stuff, business stuff. It's been so cramped. So I called my friend Sid from 100x Engineers and I said, Sid, I know you've been playing with OpenClaw for the last week. Can you come do a tutorial with us? And we'll just show people use cases and how to get set up very quickly. And he said, cool, I'm in. So today we're going to talk about OpenClaw. Sid, we're going to talk about how to set it up. Before that, Sid, how long have you been using this? What's the coolest thing you've done?
The coolest thing which I've done so far is automating my grocery ordering so that my cook doesn't bug me every morning.
Very cool.
I order this.
Can your cook talk directly to OpenClaw now? Can you text OpenClaw?
So I sent this number to her, but I'm not very sure.
Awesome. So let's find out. Let's set up OpenClaw. Sid, how do we begin?
So we have multiple ways to set up the OpenClaw. One is on cloud, that is a more secure way. So we have options like DigitalOcean, where you can get a droplet, which is your cloud server, deploy it there. And another way is you can do it on your local machine. However, this is a very early stage project, so I would not recommend anyone to install it on your personal machine.
Because of security risk?
Exactly.
Can you tell us what all can happen?
So by default, this has the tendency to connect with any remote server, and it also opens your desktop or the machine which you're using to the entire public internet. So anyone can access it, they can do malicious things.
And plus it takes some time to set up. Yeah. I have a question. Is there any brainless way to use it? Any platforms?
Recently, Emergent actually launched something cool, which is a one-click setup. So we can actually show that.
Okay.
So you go to Emergent website, this is emergent.sh, and now they've added one-click setup. So earlier it used to take a couple of steps to install it, get a server. Now it's just one-step process. So you click on this.
One click?
Yeah.
Just one click?
Just one click and you press enter. So it automatically runs all the script. It gets a new server on the Emergent's backend, and then initializing right now the cloud environment. It gets all the resources and it's starting.
It's already set up?
Yeah. So it'll take a couple of minutes to set up everything up, and then you can access everything on a link, which it'll give you.
Cool. So let's not do this. Emergent's cool for people who don't want to go through the setup process. Sid, let's actually go through the local setup process. Let's see what it's actually like to do on your local machine. How do we start? You go to openclaw.ai.
So yeah, first go to openclaw.ai, and based on your operating system, right now we're using a Windows machine. So make sure you have WSL and Node.js. These are the two prerequisites.
And for those of you that are listening, it's pretty easy to get WSL started. Make sure you choose the Ubuntu distro using Ubuntu, I assume. Just go to Google, search for how do I get WSL on my Windows machine. And the second thing you need is Node.js.
Node.js, yes.
Awesome. So Google how to get Node.js on WSL. It's fairly simple steps. We don't want to make this a very, very lengthy tutorial. So just pick those two up.
So next step, just write this command.
In WSL.
In WSL, npm ig openclaw. This will install OpenClaw on your machine. And after this, you can write this last command, which is OpenClaw onboard. So two commands, OpenClaw install, npm ig, and then OpenClaw onboard.
Awesome.
So let's run this.
OpenClaw onboard. So this is like a wizard, but
yes,
in the terminal.
So it'll set up everything for you. A very cool thing about OpenClaw is it asks you to define the identity and give a soul to it. So you actually need to give it the identity. What do you think? What can you tell it to be?
Let's make it the most rude agent possible. First, it gives you a security warning. Let's make this full screen. It gives you a security warning, and this is important. OpenClaw is a hobby project and still in beta. Expect sharp edges. This bot can read files and run actions. Remember that every text you send the bot or anything you do on WhatsApp with the bot, there's a lot of possibility of you, kind of giving out your personal details, which is why actually we recommended Emergent or any of these cloud solutions where it's easier for you to use this without giving away details, right? I know, Sid, you've set this up on a separate machine, and even the WhatsApp number you have is a separate number that you've created.
We have bought a different number and a different email also for this.
Super. So I understand this is powerful and inherently risky. I said yes.
So let's start the onboarding mode. We'll do a quick start. So it'll ask me first which model I need to use.
Let's use OpenAI.
Let's go with OpenAI. So we need to copy the OpenAI key, which will not show our key here. So I'll use the existing one.
Okay. Just copy paste the OpenAI key. If you don't know how to get an OpenAI key, just go to Google and type, how do I get an OpenAI key?
And I'll be using OpenAI GPT 5.2 model. For this particular agent, I would recommend using a model which has a reasoning engine or which has reasoning on by default. So GPT 5.2 works, Claude 4.5, Opus works great.
And this is mostly because you wanted to execute tasks exactly as you want, but also for security reasons, it won't let you do stupid things.
Exactly. And the next thing is now we need to select the channel. So by default, it gives you options. You can choose Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord, what do you want to select?
Let's use WhatsApp.
So let's use this and we'll start linking our WhatsApp.
So we'll add your personal WhatsApp number. Sid will use your phone and your number. We've selected WhatsApp. Configure skills now. Sid, so what are skills?
So this is how you can extend the capabilities of this agent. Suppose tomorrow you wanted to teach how you write. So you can transfer all the learning and you can create a new skill which this Claude bot can learn.
And are these the same Claude skills that we can use, or these are specifically for OpenClaw?
So skills are portable by nature and they have actually used the same concept of what Claude is using. So you can actually convert the existing Claude skills and you can repurpose here.
Lovely. We'll skip that for now. We'll also skip hooks.
Let's start the gateway. So now the OpenClaw has started.
How do you want to hatch your OpenClaw bot? And it says it's on the browser. So now it's set up on the browser, I assume?
Yes. So this is the link and this is a local host link.
Okay.
Again, I'm very skeptical about its abilities. So I'm only running it on my local machine.
So let's click on that. Cool. So OpenClaw control is open. So this is the chat. We'll come back to the chat in a bit. There's overview of everything that's going on, just at a glance. Then there are channels. We have WhatsApp as a channel.
The communication channels.
But as you said, we can install Discord, Telegram, whatever way you want to chat with OpenClaw, you can set that up, but WhatsApp is best. Then there are instances. Yeah, so what are instances, Sid?
So OpenClaw by default can be run on multiple devices, on CLI, on UI. So these are all the instances which is running.
Awesome. Sessions, which is how we're connected. Your phone is connected, as I can see here. Then there are cron jobs, I assume are timed things that OpenClaw can run for you. Can you explain what a cron job is?
Cron job is a process which can run automatically in background. So you can give it a time so that, for example, every morning, if you want to receive the top 5 trending things which is happening in AI, so you can set up cron job for that. And it can go and check your favorite.
This is when it hits you, right? Like you can have 8 a.m. something pop up, 5 p.m. something pop up. And I think, there's just this UI on OpenClaw is so dense. There's so many things and there's so much to learn. I feel like a lot of companies will hire like an OpenClaw expert to come set it up for them.
In fact, there's a company right now which are actually doing the same service. You can ask them and they'll come to your doorstep and set up everything for you.
I'm very confident enterprises in India will need something like this and they'll ask, well, what are the things we can automate? So if you're watching this video and this entire tutorial is going to be free, you probably have, something you can freelance with. You probably have a new skill that you can pick up, and of course, you can go even deeper after you watch this video. But then again, agents have skills, and there are lots of skills I can see here which we've not installed, like 1Password, Apple Notes, Apple Reminders, Bird, Blog Watcher. So these are skills you can add that can do specific stuff for you. So they've coded, or rather prompted, a set of things that can do.
At the end of the day, it's just like set of prompts and written SOPs, and you can also build your own skills for your use case.
It's very interesting. In Ruby on Rails, we had this idea of gems, right, which you can use to extend, but all those gems were written with code.
Right.
Here, all these skills are written with English, which is cool. So anyone, as long as you have good ideas and you can write it down, you can now add any skill and OpenClaw will do it for you, which is a crazy world that we live in. In fact, this is the future of software.
Yeah, exactly.
Then there are nodes, which we don't need to get into right now. Then there's config, which is how we've configured in that initial onboarding.
This is the control panel where you can change the model name, you can change the setups, the commands, anything which you want to add and remove from the settings.
Lovely. Then there's debugging, which we don't need to get into, and logs, which is what have you done so far. And then finally, there's documentation, which if you want to read more about OpenClaw, you can. Let's go all the way back to chat. Sid, we're going to chat with this bot through your phone, through messages. So let's start. Can I send a message? Yeah. Can you show me the number that you have? Awesome. So this is the chat with OpenClaw. Hey, OpenClaw, from now on, your name is Raju, and you will only respond to Raju. I assume OpenClaw is special because it has memory.
Yes.
So this should work. So it's chatting. You can see it's typing, which is very cool. And it says, I can't follow, only respond to Raju because you still need to be able to reach me normally and system gateway will still come through. I can do this instead. My name is Raju. I'll prefer responding when you address me as Raju, but I'll still respond when you ask me normally so you're not locked out. Okay, that's fine. And it says, if you want a stricter rule, tell me. Should I ignore messages that don't include the word Raju? Let's not do that. But let's start with, hey Raju, from now on, I want you to respond to me like a Gen Z kid with Gen Z slang. Okay? This is very cool. I'm communicating with the AI and the PC, and I can see it in the chat on the PC as well, but communicate with my AI on WhatsApp, and I can control my PC from my phone. Okay, from now I'll respond with Gen Z vibes plus slang, and I'll keep it readable and non-cringe spam. Please, quick prefs. I don't need all of this. Now I'm going to ask it to access the browser, but I want to do it in the safest way possible. How do you set that up first?
So one of the safest way to do this is to actually install the browser extension. So this browser extension is called OpenClaw Browser Relay. Because this is a special extension, it only accesses the browser tab and the websites which you give permission.
Which you've already opened.
Yes. So otherwise, if this bot gets access or if this number someone else tries to like send the messages to, they can like
open any website.
Open any website and control the entire PC. So just to make sure that we have the security measures in place, we're going to give the access to only one tab and one website.
So let me just say, hey Raju, find me the top 3 posts by upvotes on the topic of cooking on Reddit today. Okay? Now I can see it typing back. Okay, it's controlling my browser. It's gone to the search bar and I can see it doing it automatically, which is very interesting to watch. So let's click the relevance tab. It's magical. I'm using WhatsApp controlling the browser. Just typed it in, the browser's like doing its thing. Now it's clicked on the drop down all time. This is fantastic. I mean, I've used this on, your OpenAI that tool. What is it called?
Computer use.
Computer use.
Yeah, I can imagine a lot of automation startups who are actually doing this as a service. Like this can now do all those kind of automations.
See, this is very cool because the top 3 posts, as I was seeing, even if you type the word cooking, are some bullshit about billionaires and billionaires are bad and this and that, like, which is Reddit mostly, right? But Claude realized that, hey, that's not what we're looking for. So it went to Reddit r/cooking, which is a very smart decision it took. Because otherwise it would have given me 3 political pieces of content. Maybe which had mentioned the word cooking or something like that. This is a clever decision that it made.
Exactly.
The only thing is this is kind of slow.
Yeah. Right now it's slow. I think because it's a very early stage project. Do you remember like you built something similar to this, the AutoCode Pro?
3 years ago, yeah. We built AutoCode Pro.
I could see like, so when I was going through the GitHub repository, like I could see the same vibe. It's like the guy has vibe coded it and like added like all these things together.
Yeah. Now AutoCode Pro is the first time that we realized, because for me, I only learned from experimentation. It's the first time we realized, oh, it wasn't very accurate. Like it would make mistakes. Now I can see it's doing reasoning and it's giving back interesting stuff. But back then it wasn't so. Anyway, it went to our cooking, went to top and gave me, the entire list of things. It says, I'm cursed, chicken stock, that's the top post. Stew is missing something, but we can't figure it out. That's the second post. And third one is name the ingredients that you currently have in your pantry, fridge, freezer that you will never buy again after finishing what you've got. That's pretty interesting. So it went to our cooking, went to top, even though when it searched for cooking, it got bad results. So it made a clever decision on going here because it knew the results were not right, which is very cool. AI 3 years ago wouldn't do this. It would just search for cooking, whatever it got, it would give you. But this is like a human being who's like, well, the top 3 posts you got when you search for the word cooking were some billionaire stuff and not related to cooking. So let me make a better decision and go to our cooking. This is awesome. Sid, reading about cooking, I'm feeling hungry. Can I order from Blinkit?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, so let's open a tab. Let's keep a tab open on Blinkit.
Yeah, I'll give access to this tab permission.
You have to go to every tab and click on OpenClaw Browser Relay and click on.
Yes.
Awesome. This is cool. So it only works with like the bunch of tabs that you open and keep.
Exactly.
Cool. Hey, I've opened a Blinkit tab. Can you order 2 sugar-free chewing gums? This is very cool. Leave your computer on at home with whatever tabs you want, and then you just hang out wherever you want, and you have your phone, and then you have this AI doing cool stuff for you. That is awesome. It's awesome. I think everyone should have like a Clawbot sitting at home, OpenClaw sitting at home doing this stuff for you. Okay, it says, yep, but I can help, but I need 2 things first. I need the Blinkit tab attached to the browser relay. So I think you should refresh this once, okay, and turn on the browser relay. Just go to that extension and click on. Try now. And here's the cool part. It says also I can add 2 free sugar chewing gums to cart and go all the way to checkout, but I won't hit the final place order /pay without a clear send it, and in bracket it says money stuff, which is which is cool. It's thinking about my security even though I'm not. I know this is, it's part of the custom instructions from OpenClaw to tell OpenAI, the AI model, not to go and make purchases on your behalf. But honestly, you can kind of change that and say, hey, go make purchases on my behalf, and then you'll probably be able to make purchases wherever you are. It's all about security. It's like, I wish before the final purchase, just a QR code was here so I could pay. And I'm pretty sure that's possible. It's very easy to do it also. Someone just has to do it. I'm sure it'll be a skill for OpenClaw at some point, which is awesome. And you can see it's gone to Blinkit. It's searched for sugar-free chewing gum. And we can see Orbit and Trident and Happy Dent and whatnot. Let's see what it adds.
So it added the Orbit spearmint.
I can see it. So the Orbit spearmint has gone from 0 to 1. And you can tell it all your preferences. I prefer cheaper things. I prefer, more expensive things. Whatever. You can just set all your preferences. It has memory. It'll remember. You have an assistant.
This is like a real life Jarvis.
I mean, I spend money. I have an executive assistant. I spend money on an assistant, but this is just as good.
It added one more, by the way. So exactly like what you mentioned, 2 packs.
2 packs. Maybe I should have told it I want diverse, 2 different packs, but it listens to every word. Your thinking now and your clarity really matter. Because it really, it'll do exactly what you tell it, and if you don't know exactly what you want, it's going to give you the wrong thing. So I can see that it's added the stuff to the cart, but it's not paid. It's saying now proceed to pay. It's just left a proceed to pay at the bottom. Let's see if it makes that decision, or do I need to come press proceed to pay. Will it click on that?
In this case, actually, I'm not sure.
Let's see, let's find out. My only irritation with this is slow.
Yeah, this one is.
But if you're somewhere else and you're using WhatsApp,
So I'll tell you one hack if you really want to speed things up. You just give a headless browser extension to this, because right now everything is like a actual browser. So actual browser takes time to load everything, but headless is much more faster.
And I assume you have a cohort, right? I assume you teach all this. You teach how to do OpenClaw skills and stuff.
Exactly.
Because it's the same Claude skills that's going on.
Yeah, so that's why I love learning from first principles, because everything what you have learned building an agent, it's essentially the same thing, like LLMs, memory, tools with some skills, and now I can build.
And because you've done it in the previous generation of LLMs, you're doing it now like this. Awesome. So it says, yup, done. I found Orbit Spearmint Sugar-Free Chewing Gum, 19.8 grams, and set it to quantity 2. See, it's even summarizing what's happened. I'm on the cart screen with proceed to pay, ready to click. Say go ahead, and I'll tap proceed to pay. Go ahead. I love it. I love that it's asking me for everything. It's just such a nice executive assistant. Wow.
One cool thing which I have recently started exploring, you can export all your chats from all the LLMs, if you're okay with that. And then you can ask CloudBot to convert this into a knowledge graph. So it can understand the concepts and topics which you are interested about. And then maybe it can start storing this into Supabase and SQL-based database.
So the more it knows about me, the better it's able to map what I want. I can see we're on the Blinkit payment page, and it's asking me for either a credit card or UPI or whatever, which I can now do on my browser. But by the way, we can skip all of this. We could have just done cash on delivery. So anyway, that's pretty cool. I think this definitely, some kind of executive assistance will be possible. At some point, I know Blinkit will do Blinkit skills, and you can probably do it on OpenClaw without having to go through the platform. We need a good service in between that can hold your card details and make smart decisions on where your card should be used, and always give you the UPI code or whatever, the CVV through this directly. But it's coming. Someone's going to make this. This is all stuff. If you're watching this, you're already ahead of 99% of the population. Most of them are not watching this stuff. But someone who takes this stuff and makes it possible for the normies, the normal population to use, is really going to be ahead of everybody else. This is very cool. WhatsApp to browser use is excellent. Now let's go one step further. Sid, technically you could make my content process on this, right? You could open 2 tabs, one for HeyGen, one for 11 Labs, and then tell it specifically, hey, find the top 3 posts on Reddit about cooking, make scripts about them, go to 11 Labs, generate the audio, then go to HeyGen, generate the video, and put it all together and send it to me. Technically, it can do that.
So the only thing here is somebody needs to understand where it breaks, and exactly those are the integrations you need to build. And because it's open source, so as you mentioned, you can build skills for it. And once you identify what are the things which are breaking, just fix those parts.
Sid, what do you think of digital jobs after all of this?
Yeah, I think
I saw a Claude skill for Excel recently, which is awesome.
Claude skill for Excel, I use it, by the way. I use it a lot. I use Claude skill for Excel. I use Claude skill for even PPTs. I have designed my own. By the way, I don't take help of any designer.
By the way, guys, these guys teach all of this at 100x. It's called AI fluency. Now it's like you need to know what AI can do, what it cannot do, where it breaks, because you could just save like half your day, right? So Sid, I have a question here. How many tokens are we using? How much are we spending on making all this happen?
I've been working with OpenClaw from the last 2 weeks, and I've spent about like $60 to $70. And I'm not using it every single day, but you can think of 5 to 6 hours of daily usage for like a week or so. So that's the math.
So roughly about $5-10 a day.
$5 a day, yeah.
That is expensive. Technically, I can use an open source model on my computer, right?
Exactly. By the way, like if you want to try this out, there's a website called Open Router. You can go to Open Router, and there are a lot of free models are out there. So you can connect those models to this agent.
And you can run it on your computer if you have a beefy computer.
Exactly. So we can use this tool called Olama. And with Olama, you can install all these local models on your machine, and then you can connect this with this agent. So you don't need to pay anything while you're say burning your tokens. Or what do you think about giving access to your bank account?
I think someone will make this happen. I think within the next few months, you're going to have someone make a wrapper around OpenClaw to make it normie friendly. And that includes giving your card details or your UPI details. Like it's going to happen. It's like inevitable. And I think whoever does it is going to do financially very well because a lot of people are going to use this. And I think more than anything now, for most people, it needs to be clarity of what you want, where you're going to use your card, etc. I think banks are also going to enable this. Right? They're going to be like agent made this transaction versus human made this transaction. Like banking system has to change after this. Like you want agents to make transactions on your behalf. It just saves so much time.
I think just like what we have virtual cards, maybe we might have agent cards in future.
Yeah. We're showing you a small glimpse of what can be done. And I think, I know you're doing an entire series on cloud skills and stuff for your cohort, which I'm very excited to see how that goes. Wow. What a world we live in. And yes, to answer your question, I think at some point I will give it my bank account because it's like a long time ago, we're like, oh, UPI, one click, what if someone scams, this, that. But we moved past that. And I think they will find security measures. And this is not like 5 years away. This is like 6 months away, a year away, right? Like everything happens much quicker now because there's just so much financial opportunity for someone to do this. Secondly, I think there's a huge business opportunity on OpenClaw implementation.
Right.
To go into a business, find the 15 things that people do and set up OpenClaw on everybody's computer and just set it up to do the work. Big opportunity. And I'm sure some of you are going to go take advantage of that opportunity and build cool stuff. This is a great intro video. Definitely check it out. If you want to try it online, check out Emergent or use one of the, but you still have to do the same offline process online if you use a droplet. But better to use Emergent, it's quicker. They're partners on today's video as well. And I know the team personally, and I can vouch for the fact that they actually care about their customers. I just can't wait to see some of the use cases. Right? It's very hard to tell what use cases become popular. Content use case, I can think of 100.
I can think of like a personalized content curator for yourself because I think you can use that.
Yeah. Finding the absolute best stuff from the internet.
Exactly.
Which is awesome. Like maybe you could ask OpenClaw, hey, go summarize all the most underrated AI hacks from the last 30 days. Find me all the most underrated cooking hacks. Like, there's just so much you can do. And then just go, find the best recipes for something and go order the groceries. Like, you can do that, right? Because it can figure out what are those groceries required, then go to Blinkit, find exactly those groceries, make sure it comes home. I love it.
Awesome.
I'm just excited to see what people create. Thank you so much, Sid, for doing this. And, typically I would have done this myself, but like I just didn't have the time this week and I know you'd spent time on it. So I was like, why don't you come on? Let's do this. Let's try the YouTube collab tool. Thank you guys for watching. And make sure to subscribe to me. Make sure to subscribe to 100x Engineers. And yeah, please tell me in the comments what you're building. Good ideas. Now the ideas actually started to matter a lot. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.